All right, so I'm live with 52 weeks of live coding.net. And last week, if I remember correctly, I was getting .NET working inside of GitHub Codespaces. And I was also able to get a Blazor app, which is a web framework for .NET running. And I was able to preview that out inside of a GitHub Codespace environment. And so that was kind of a fun thing to play around with. So let's maybe keep going on that road. I'm going to share my screen here and get started. All right, so I've got this set up here. There we go. Okay, so we got GitHub Codespaces, and if I go over to my .NET environment, let's go ahead and try this out. Do I have a .NET environment here? Here we go, live coding C#. Okay, so what did I do last week? So I was playing around with the .NET new Blazor app environment, and that was pretty fun. Let's keep going down that road. So I have, here we go. We've got CodeSpace already set up. I used that a week ago. Let's just keep building off of that. If it works, don't break it. Or was it, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So let's keep on doing what we were doing. Now, it is weird though. Why is the color changed? I could have sworn I changed the color here, but sure, let's change it again. I mean, that seems so weird that it wouldn't keep those settings. But anyway, and then if I go here, I'm kind of curious what's installed inside of here. Let's do the Copilot again. So Get Lens recommended, but let's actually do Copilot. Okay, so let's see what it says. So if we get now subscription required, continue to get access to Copilot, technical preview. Well, let's try that. Let's just try it out. And I guess I can fill out all my info here. Sure. Address, say Duke University. We'll say Durham. And we'll say United States. Well, that didn't work too well, but here we go. This should work. We'll say North Carolina. Let's try it out. Submit. So hopefully I'm not charged, but we'll figure this out later. So GitHub can allow or block suggestions. Okay, so I'm going to, if you have extension already installed, well, that's kind of interesting. So GitHub is now ready to pair program. Now, if I refresh this, what does it do? Let's see if this actually fixes the Copilot issue. Okay. What's installed here? Oh, thank you for using it. Your subscription will begin after your free access expires. All right, let's try this out. And let's open up a new terminal. And I guess I could play around with this Copilot for C# here by hello. We have a test. We have a test here, which I think I worked out last week. And I guess I could maybe make another project. What's a good way to test this out? So codespaces.net starter kit. Let's try that. Let's see if there's some stuff we can play around with here. So we have this, the extensions. Here we go, included to speed up developer workflows. The dot files, this looks good. And these are meant to be personalized configuration. Okay, that looks good. Ubuntu 1804. Well, so I think this is okay. VS Code extensions, but probably not where I want to start. I think what I want to do is just look at the C# tutorial, and let's try some stuff in here. So let's go to the Microsoft C# tutorial. Here we go. Introduction to C#. This looks good. And let's start off with Hello World tutorial here. And this works. I don't think we want to do interactive though. I actually want to find something that's more of not browser. We want to work in, here we go, set up your environment. So first steps here, we already did this. .NET new creates an application. So this is more what I want to do. We want to do .NET new, .NET build, .NET run. And if you use Visual Studio 2019, we can do new project. But here's a numbers tutorial. Let's try this. This looks like a good one. Okay, so let's do a numbers tutorial here. And I'm going to go back to my environments, make it a little bit bigger, and just do this. We'll say .NET new console numbers and C#. Let's create it in this directory. And notice that it did do the now this is a little bit annoying though, because I would prefer that it would put it into a directory. So what I can do is actually just delete this. Let's say get status. So let's go ahead and remove the numbers in C# CS proj. So we'll do this, and I'm going to remove the directory here. Let's remove the program file. Okay, so let's do that same command, but this time instead of doing the dot, I want to actually say we want to do basically create a directory. Did that work? There we go. That's what I wanted. I want to create a directory. And now we have this console like hello here. That looks like we've got something working. So the C# templates use top level statements. So your code may not match the code in the article if you've already upgraded to .NET. So here's an example. Open up the file and replace this with the following code. Okay, so let's even put this inside of our directory here so that other people can follow along and say, I'll just put a step here and just says like day 2. Day 2 is basically follow along with projects in Copilot. Here we go. Let's just say numbers tutorial. So I'll put this inside of here. Say numbers tutorial. Okay, so got that working. We got this numbers file, or the program file. I'm going to swap it out with this code. Here we go. So we have some new code in here. Now to run this code, we just need to do a .NET run command. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll say .NET run, but because it's in a directory, either put in the project path, like that, or I think I can just cd into here. Let's just cd into numbers C#, and let's just do .NET run and what happens. Okay, that works. So we can do .NET run, and it's able to actually use the integers here. A is equal to 18, B is equal to 6, C is equal to A plus B, and this is able to write line. So that works. And now if we want to do different operations, We can do subtraction, multiplication, division. So these are pretty straightforward to take a look at here. I mean, I guess I could just add them down, right? I could just say, here's uh, the basics of addition, and I guess I could put this right here, and there we go. We can say addition. There we go. Now look, I think this is the Copilot. Look, Copilot is saying um, addition example, right? It's giving me some suggestions, which is pretty cool. Okay, so we've got division, multiplication, addition. We'll do again, .NET run. There we go. We got that cooking. And then if we want to go down to as you explore C#, you'll make mistakes when you write code. The compiler will find those errors. I mean, I guess we could try to make a mistake on purpose and just to see the compiler do some weird stuff. If we just said like, I don't know, C equals C or something like that, what happens? It should just blow up. There we go. It says, look, you can do that. And in fact, no quick fixes here. But at least it's telling us, oh yeah, well, we missed a semicolon, but this should definitely be bad. What happens if we do that? Ooh, it says, look, assignment made to some variable. Did you mean to assign it to something else? Right? Like it gives us a warning that like that's a garbage piece of code. Don't do that. Right. So uh, that's a neat thing to play around with. And now if we want to, it says you finish the first step before you start the next section, let's make the current code into a separate method, right? So the idea here with the method is it allows us to kind of put things into logical blocks. So let's actually just take all this code and just throw it up here and put it into a block, work with integers, void, work with integers. So it's basically not going to take anything as an input. It's just it's going to run. And so let's go ahead and compile this as well. So we'll say .NET.run. There we go. We got this thing working. And then the line with integers invokes the method. And what we could do is we could actually comment out the call to working with integers. It'll make the output less cluttered as you work with the section. And what else goes down here? There's just more and more integers and double types. Kind of boring. I mean, I get the gist of what's going on here. So let's go ahead and see if we can check this in. If I go ahead and I say get status, let's go up one directory and say get status. We have numbers in C#. So let's go ahead and add that. Go ahead and add readme. Adding numbers. Go. And if we look at what was committed, if we go back here and we right click, or we just go to here and we see numbers in C#, it checked in the project file and it also checked in the C# file. Okay, so that's kind of neat to know that our GitHub or gitignore file was working well. So now that I understand how to play around a little bit with the tutorial in our local environment, maybe let's try some new stuff, branches and loops here. So make decisions using the if statements. So let's try this one next. So let's go ahead and take this command and let's go here. Let's open up a new terminal, and play around with this. Go ahead and paste this in, but we'll call this branches and loops so that it's in its own subdirectory. So I'll go ahead and change this. There you go. And we have let's go ahead and close all those other ones. And we got branches and loops program file. Okay, so we got this ready to go. And we can say, here we go. So we'll create an integer, a equals 5, b equals 6. If a plus b is greater than 10, then write the answer is greater than 10. Okay, so that's kind of a neat little piece of code to just test out a really simple conditional So basically what it's going to do is it's going to say if this expression is greater than 10, so in this case, there's going to be 11, then it's going to say this answer is greater than 10. Okay, that makes sense. So we'll say .NET run. .NET run. And the answer is greater than 10. There you go. So we got one thing working. Try this code by typing .NET run in your console. You should see the message. The answer is greater than 10. Modify B so the sum is less than 10. Okay, let's try it out. Let's make B to be 3. Run it again. .NET run. Yeah, doesn't print anything. Now, we could do an else. Oh, yeah, I was about to just say that as like, yeah, why don't we just add an else here to try it out? And if we do an else, so basically this will only be evaluated if this is going to exceed 10. Otherwise, it'll do this other line here. So because B is equal to 3, this other one, the second conditional will run. The answer is not greater than 10. So that makes sense to me. And the indentation is for human readers. The C# language doesn't care. So unlike Python, where it does care, we don't really care about this. Because it's not significant, you need to use the brackets here to indicate when you want more than one statement. So C# programmers typically use those on all if-else. The following code is the same. So let's go ahead and copy this. This is better. I was going to say that looked weird to me. It's like, how is that working? But this looks more like the C# I'm used to. So we add these brackets here. We do .NET run. Everything is good to go. Now, if we go down here, though, you'll see code samples using braces following accepted best practices. So you can test more complicated conditions here, add the following code after the code you've written. So we have a C is equal to 4, and we say if this expression, A plus B plus C, is greater than 10, and basically A is equal to B, then it says the answer is greater than 10, and the first number is equal to the second, or else the number is not greater than 10, or the first number is not equal to the second. So the double ampersand here is and. So this is definitely comes in very useful when you're building more sophisticated programs, is you have two conditions you have to match, and they both need to be true in order for something to run. And so let's go ahead and try this out. We can go through here and do .NET run. We can see that. We didn't. I smoked my other code here, so I can't do that. So I need to do this. Here we go. That should work. There we go. The answer is not greater than 10, or the first number is not equal to the second. So we got that working here as well. And then if we want to put it all into a method again, so you finished it. Let's do explore if. Let's go ahead and swap this out and fix it. And here we go. We've got this thing cooking, explore if. This does all of my fancy stuff here. Again, I just go through here and do .NET run. We've got this thing. So branches and loops are pretty easy. Now, I do this a lot when I'm building some kind of a loop here, like especially if you're going to build like a command line tool, you'll see stuff like this. Like this would be like a classic command line tool. You would build a console app in C#. Is you could ask somebody how many times they want to repeat something, and I guess add this code after the call to explore if. Okay, let's go ahead and do that after the call to explore if. What do they want me to do? Let's say add this call after the call to explore if. I guess it would be here. Int counter. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, counter is 0, counter is 1, counter is 2. Now, I guess I could also just comment this out. because I don't necessarily want that to run. I'm just playing around with the loop now. There we go. So the local function is declared but never used. There we go. We just want to try this one out. We create a counter. We say while counter is under 10. Go ahead and print out the counter, but then increment it each iteration of the loop, and then eventually it will update this outside of the loop, and then eventually it will exceed the while statement, and then it'll stop. So in this case, we can see it starts with 0, and as soon as it gets to 9, that's enough, because 10 will make it so that it doesn't have the ability to run anymore. Now, if we want to get kind of fancy here, what we could do is actually look inside and see, like, basically say something like this and say, like, I updated the counter here, and we say now the counter, now the counter is this. Okay, let's go ahead and run that. And notice that, look, the counter is 1. Okay, so look, I updated the counter. Now the counter is 10, right? So basically, um, now we know that, in fact, as soon as the counter got updated, then this next statement never runs again, right? So that's kind of cool. Let's go ahead and add that. Let's see, go up here. We'll say get status, get add branches. So probably this would be a good spot to see. I remember how to create a console app, adding loops here. So if I go to the Microsoft document, let's actually just put this inside of the README as well. So if anybody's following along here, we'll do this, and we'll say looping tutorial, loops here. Now, so I'm probably going to do like just some basic stuff. I'm just putting a description, basic stuff, and console app. There we go. Now for a console app, here you go, console app tutorial. That's what I want. So we want to do something really, really simple. And so where is .NET New Console? That's all I want to do. So pretty easy to do. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll say .NET New Console, and I would think I need to give it a, let's say like hello console. Hopefully that works. .NET New Console. Let's see what happens if I just do .NET New Console. See, that's annoying. Why did it do that? I don't want it to create it in this workspace. I mean, I guess what I can do is just delete what did I put here? Status. So let's remove the live coding C#. Let's remove the program, and rm-rf, give this directory. So I guess what I can do is just call this like hello console, like that, and then I'm going to cd into there, hello console. There you go. Now I can do that command. I just don't want to pollute the root directory. So there we go. Done a new console. Okay, now that I've got this new hello console app, we can put anything we want in here. Now I want to do something. I want it to take an input. Read words. I was just hoping to do a really simple counter app. I guess namespace teleprompter console. At the top of the, you may have used it. Reading and echoing file. This looks okay, but how to C#. This may not be exactly what I want. So let's try C# console app, take input, take user input. There we go. That's what I care about. And there we go. It's got to be a nice little tutorial here. In fact, I could look at my own code where I wrote this recently. Whoa, that's a lot of code. I don't want to do all that. That's too much. Console read line method. I think what I'm going to do is just look at one of my other examples of my own code that I just want to get a really simple console app. I think I have a .NET example here. I think this could be it. .NET AWS Comprehend. What did I do here? So I said, yeah, so all I need to do is just clean this up a little bit. This is an AWS example, but this is probably something I can just riff off of. So I'm going to just throw this in here, and I don't want AWS right now. I'm just going to say namespace. Let's just keep it simple, I guess, and we'll just say console write line like hello, and then type in a phrase for analysis. Type in a phrase, and we don't need that. We just need to write line. So ask for a phrase. Yeah, so I think we just need to a phrase for analysis. There we go. You typed phrase. Done. Okay. This looks like it would work. Let's see if this works. .NET. This is where maybe the Copilot stuff helped me. Does this compile? Okay. Type in a phrase for analysis. Hello. You type hello. Okay. There we go. Good enough. I got something working as a console app. So let's go ahead and do get status, or let's go up one directory and do get status. Get add hello. Get add readme. Okay, so I got a little bit more into some Hello World adding console app. So that's a decent amount of code here. One of the reasons I think somebody asked about this is why do the code spaces, for me, it's just a very convenient environment. So I don't have to worry about my local environment being set up or messed up. I just have a deep integration with GitHub, and this environment wakes up whenever I need it. And we saw that it works with Copilot. All right, well, that is it for me for C# today. And I will see you next week, and we'll just keep coding C# and .NET.